Well, as you can guess from what Dalton has said and some other things, Peter and Sibille Pritchard are here with us today. And Sibille will come and tell us a little bit about some memories about their long association with Dr. Carr.
Very short.
From you.
Well, hello everyone. First of all, I'm woefully inadequate after reading of what Peter wrote about Archie to do this, and I wish he were able to be up here himself and tell you exactly what his experiences were with Archie Carr, because he is in America because of him. So, as you know, Peter's not well and so cannot do this. So I'm going to try and do very quickly this little brief account of my experience and I think his, and how he had been inspired by just not Archie, but the Carr family in general. And I'm happy that Chuck is here today, because Chuck has also been a very integral part of our growth and our understanding of conservation. So thank you, Chuck, for being here. Well, Peter came to Florida from Oxford, as you know, and everybody always said, isn't it the other way around? You go from Florida to Oxford, and how come you did it the other way around? And he said, the reason he came to Florida was specifically to study with Archie Carr. He was a chemist by background. He did chemistry at Oxford, but he had had no real experience with turtles. Had written a book about turtles, but absolutely loved them. And he was very fortunate in that in correspondence with Archie, he said, even though you'd never done any biology whatsoever, you can come and do a PhD with me. And that's actually how it started. So he came over as a graduate student to work with Archie Carr, and that was the absolute love of his life and obviously his ongoing interest for the rest of his life. Peter, as you know, is a very unusual person. All of you who know him know that. I don't have to tell you that. So he found all of the ways in which to take advantage of Archie's interest and add his quirkiness and eccentricities to his love for turtles, and that's what he did for the whole of his life. As you know, with Lawyer Hart, very early on, was very interested in what happened in Florida, but Peter did most of his work outside of Florida and all over the world, and in fact, was not just about sea turtles, but about turtles in general. I think he's the only person in the world who studied every single type of turtle. And so he had broadened his perspective, but his love, his real undying love, was for sea turtles and the morphology of sea turtles. He wasn't a person too much like Archie engaged with the science from the newfangled one. He was always about the touch, the feel, the smell, the whatever, and he still is that way to this day. And even though he can't do very much in terms of research, he still can look at the turtle and tell you what it is. So that's a very good aspect. For me, who has absolutely no background whatsoever in science and came from Guyana, and everybody thought, therefore had some interest or knowledge of turtles, it was nil. So I learned everything by sort of osmosis, by traveling the world with Peter all over and learning to love the creatures just as much as he did, because it was very obvious to me that turtles, and to use one of Peter's little sayings at one of the end of his films, is blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And that's exactly how I interpret turtles. That they have the know-how, the science, the things we don't know about how to really survive. And if we don't do anything to kill them, and if we do things to help conserve them, it's very obvious that they'll be here forever. But I want to thank you very much for including us and having us here today, and thank you all for your ongoing support, not just of Peter's work, but your work that you do to advance the science and the conservation of turtles. And I would tell you stories, but there's so many of you here who could do it among yourselves, so I wouldn't take up any more of your time. But thank you very, very much.